This is The Herd. Wherever you may be, hour two, however you may be listening, in Los Angeles, iHeartRadio, Fox Sports Radio, and FS1. It is great to have you in. We're back on Fox Sports 1. Now, tomorrow on Fox, the big channel, 2 Eastern, 11 Pacific, USA women take on France in Paris. It is the Women's World Cup game of note. The ratings have been fantastic. Soccer is growing. I watched the Gold Cup last night, by the way. United States blanked Panama. 10 goals, no surrendered goals into the knockout stage. So despite some soccer haters, it's here to stay. It knocked me off TV for a couple of weeks. I've watched a ton of it. I love the World Cup. Men's, women's, I absolutely love it. So congratulations to all those teams. Congratulations to the United States men's national team. By the way, congratulations to Vanderbilt baseball. They were a nothing burger forever, and they hired this new manager, and they are just like now at Oregon State baseball and Vanderbilt baseball are dynasties. If you don't think coaching matters in college sports, at least, it is a big deal. Congratulations to the Commodores, Vandy. I think Skip Bayless went there.
Yes, he did.
Clay Travis, I think, got a law degree there or something. It's a great journalism school, law school. So congratulations. And Joy Taylor, of course, is joining me for hour two. It's kind of the 2 or 3 days before the storm.
Yes.
Before the free agency in the NBA. Let me just start with one that I think works. Sham Charania, who we've had on the show, says Kemba Walker and Charlotte aren't close. Charlotte doesn't want to pay him. And the Boston Celtics, according to Woj, have emerged as a leader. This one works for me. Listen, not all NBA stars are great teammates. A lot of them are just great talent. Steph Marbury is not Steph Curry. Okay, like a lot of times guys are just talented. And the problem with a point guard, a good wing, a good center, a good forward almost makes everybody better. But a good point guard's different because they have the ball. And we have a different culture in America. It used to be a great 17-year-old basketball player in America. This is the way it was for most of my life. He had a high school coach bark at him. And then he went to college and stayed for 4 years and had a college coach bark at him. And then he came into the NBA and he didn't make any money until about year 7. Our culture's changed. Now at 16 years old, he has AAU coaches begging him to play for him. He is recruited at 15, 16, 17. Then he goes to college where they're begging him to play for 1 year. Just come to Kentucky for 1 year. We love you. We'll do anything. And he goes to the NBA and he's rich. He's rich at 19 years old. There's nothing wrong with this. Same things happen in Silicon Valley. We got 20-year-old billionaires. I got no problem with it. But it has changed the dynamic of the coach-player relationship for not all, but some. Players are a little more entitled. They're a little more gassed up. Now, Zion handles it well. I think most players handle it well. But Kawhi Leonard, Greg Popovich never had a problem with any star. He didn't work with Kawhi. Rick Carlisle gets along with everybody. He didn't get along with Rondo. David Blatt and Spoelstra struggle with LeBron. Scott Brooks struggled with Westbrook. Brad Stevens struggled with Kyrie. 90% of athletes, it doesn't change things. They love basketball. They like to be coached. Most players, I think, in all sports like to be coached. But we have a different culture today. The culture in America for basketball is very much about loving the player, worshiping the player, giving the player, find the talent, get him paid. Doesn't work that way in baseball, hockey, soccer, basketball. There's a developmental process. That's all gone now. Players go to college 1 year out. College is valuable. So Kyrie's a one-and-doner. Kyrie comes into the league. An AAU coach begs him. A college coach begs him. He gets rich immediately. And some of these guys are a little tougher to coach. And by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, not every NFL guy or baseball guy is easy to coach. I think Kemba Walker is more of an old school player, will fit Brad Stevens better than Kyrie Irving. So I think this actually works. Kemba Walker works. By the way, Nick Nurse worked much better with Kawhi than Greg Popovich did. Greg Popovich is old school. Greg Popovich is a legend. And Kawhi's like, dude, little much for me. Back off. Nick Nurse coached in the G League forever. I mean, he's like a camp counselor. Everybody loves Nick Nurse. He didn't bring in the ego, the vanity, the daunting legacy. And Kawhi liked that. So it's just a different world we live in, and I do think Kyrie's talented, and he'll probably be better off playing with a star, regardless of a coach in Brooklyn. But I don't think it worked in Boston. It doesn't mean Brad Stevens can't coach. It doesn't mean Rick Carlisle can't coach. It doesn't. it's just the world. It's just the way basketball and the culture for American domestic basketball has changed. Kyrie will be happier elsewhere, and I think the Celtics will. Remember last year, they were 12-3 when Kyrie didn't play. Now that goes counterintuitive to what we think basketball is. Like if your point guard's great, you should win more. He sat, they won more. It was just the numbers. So this is a situation where not every great player who has the ball in his hand is a great fit with the team, the players, the coach, the city, the system. Kyrie will make a lot of money, go and do great. And Kemba Walker, finally, America will be reintroduced to Kemba Walker, who's a really good player and a really good kid and pretty low maintenance, and had a college coach who barked at him, and now we'll have a NBA coach who has a system, and I think they'll fit perfectly. I saw this yesterday. This was people get freaked out about this stuff. LeBron was in a pair of shorts, and he's a professional athlete, so he would be in good shape. But there was this picture that came out, and Laker fans are freaking out. Look at LeBron James; he's in great shape. A guy, look at him right there. Oh my God, LeBron is amazing. He's unbelievable. I cannot wait for the season. I will say this about LeBron: I felt he had a very bad year. But I was sitting around this morning, and it's going to be a very interesting season next year. Now, think about this. Think about the players who have either regressed, are not as good as we thought, have injury issues and won't play. Kevin Durant next year will not play. Klay Thompson, most of the regular season, will not play. Russell Westbrook's own team now acknowledging he's their second best player. Chris Paul's injury has taken him out of a top 15 list. I think it's fair to say Ben Simmons has regressed. So as much negativity as LeBron faced this year, and he stopped following me on my social media because I badgered him all year because I said it's a bad year for optics. It was a bad year on the court. There was too many businesses. You were too distracted. I was thinking this morning, who are the 10 best players next year in the NBA? You know who I have? Number one? Number one's LeBron James. Now, I know y'all love Kawhi, but he's a better ball handler than Kawhi. He's a bigger athlete than Kawhi. He'll be more rested than Kawhi. He's a better passer than Kawhi. LeBron's the best player in the league. I think Kawhi is the second best player in the league, and he's a very good second best player, but he's going to take 20 games off. LeBron's rested. He won't take 20, 25 games off. I think Giannis is the third best player in the league, and probably along with Rudy Gobert, the best defensive player in the league. I think Steph Curry, I know everybody's selling him because he struggled some in the finals. Steph Curry's an absolutely impactful player and has changed the way we play basketball is 4. I think James Harden and Anthony Davis go 5 and 6. Harden controls the ball, so I give him a nudge over Anthony Davis. I think Damian Lillard 7, had a great postseason. Joel Embiid is 8, although I worry about his injury concerns. I think the Joker in Denver, who finally America figured out is a fascinating player. Acknowledge he's got an odd NBA body, but he's a great player, and I think Paul George is 10. And so those are the 10 best players in the NBA. I think LeBron's number 1 again. And I know everybody's in on Kawhi Leonard, but Kawhi's very comfortable now. If he stays in Toronto, taking 22 games off, he's not the ball handler of LeBron. He's not the rebounder of LeBron. He's not the passer of LeBron. Frankly, I don't think he has LeBron's leadership qualities. And also, LeBron's going to have Anthony Davis right next to him. So that's going to help LeBron because there's going to be some double teams on Anthony Davis in the low post. So in the end, it's been a choppy year for LeBron. But if you're honest about it, he's probably the best player in the league with KD out, Klay out, Chris Paul's injury, Westbrook's been sort of unveiled. I mean, Ben Simmons regressed. It's kind of where we're at. And I didn't put Kyrie in the top 10 because, as I said, I think he's a great individual talent, but I think he's difficult. I think Kyrie is the current NBA star that I'm much lower on than everybody else in the league. It's just a little flaky for my taste. It's just certain guys work for me, certain guys don't. Kyrie, I'm sort of out on. Maybe he'll reel me back in. I'm kind of out on him. But much like, by the way, I was out on Westbrook much earlier than people, out on John Wall much earlier than people. I'm kind of out on Kyrie Irving. But LeBron's still the best player in the NBA. So there you go. USA-France tomorrow. I want to remind everybody about that. Rob Parker's around the corner. He's going to argue because that's what he does for a living. He'll be joining us coming up next. If you've ever used your bank's digital payment service to send somebody, let's say, money, Listen to this. Cyber thieves have found ways to steal from bank accounts by using this popular banking service. Scammers are using a combination of spoofed phone calls that look like they're coming from a customer bank. By the way, I got a weird phone call yesterday from my